Welcome back to another episode of Research and Rabbit Holes with your girl, Lauren Nicole, your cousin, sister, friend, and your friendly neighborhood librarian. Today, we are talking about learning languages through the library. Did you know that you can learn another language or two or three through your public library for free? Now, I'm sure different library systems use different platforms, but today we're going to talk about a platform called Transparent Language. And Transparent Language allows you to learn a language through lessons and various types of practice, and it even has a section for kids. Now, of course, I'm using the Jacksonville Public Library website, so let's go ahead and navigate to Transparent Language. Okay, so here we are on the Jacksonville Public Library website. We're going to navigate to that research drop-down menu and click on the A through Z list of databases link there. Once that takes us to the database list, we're going to go to the letter T to take us to Transparent Language Online. And of course, we're going to click on that read more option to learn a little bit more about Transparent Language. So it says Transparent Language Online provides an effective and engaging experience for language learners looking to build their vocabulary, practice their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, and maintain what they learn. With over 110 languages to choose from, including English for speakers of over 30 languages, there is something for every learner. This is available via Apple and Android apps if you like. And it says, worried that you won't learn on your own? A customizable learning path allows you to choose what you want to learn, while an integrated analytics system tracks your progress, periodically prompting you to review material that you haven't seen in a while. It's like having a built-in teacher there to keep you on track towards your language learning goals. There's a language tutorial video, and then you have your login instructions. So the very first time that you use this platform, you will have to sign up using your library card number. Okay, so it says be sure to enter your library card number using lowercase letters. That's very important. And if you need additional instructions, then you can click that link for more help on how to download and use the online apps. You can also call the library at that phone number if you need additional help with your devices. And in this section, it talks about the area of this platform for kids called KidSpeak. And it says Transparent Language also includes KidSpeak, a fun, easy-to-use language learning program for young learners designed for elementary-age children 6 and up. KidSpeak also offers courses in Chinese, English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. The program teaches words and phrases suitable for learners' age, needs, and interests. More than 40 activities, puzzles, and songs guide young learners through the basics, along with the cartoon friend who speaks the language. KidSpeak can be used through a web browser on computers. And then at the bottom of the page, it shows us some of the languages that are available on this platform. So Afrikaans, Amharic, Balinese, Bosnian, Bengali, Chinese, Cantonese, or Mandarin. You have Danish, Dutch, Estonian, and the list goes on, and they're all listed in alphabetical order. There is lots to learn: Hausa, Hebrew, Japanese, Korean. And then I started kind of skipping through here because the list was pretty extensive, which is amazing, depending on, how curious you are to learn maybe some things that are a little bit outside of the box. Portuguese, Slovak, Turkish, on and on. And then there's a list of languages for non-English speakers. So for speakers of other languages that are looking to learn English, you can also use this tool. So English for Amharic, English for Indonesian speakers, English for Italian speakers. And again, that list goes on. And then it also has other language pairs. So for people who are non-English speakers looking to learn another language, Arabic for Turkish speakers, Danish for Turkish speakers, French for modern standard speakers, French for Spanish Latin American speakers. So this has a little bit of something for everyone. So in continuing to scroll down this page, I'm actually going to speed the last little bit of this list up, but please feel free to pause to look more through the list if you like. And then you have a little disclaimer that says, unfortunately, transparent language does not offer courses in ancient Greek or ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. So reading the Rosetta Stone will require further study, but you can reach out to a librarian for assistance if you need help with that. Now let's get into the actual website. All right, so here is that login screen, but remember you do have to sign up with your library card number that first time. And this is a list of the languages that are available. Some of them have multiple dialects that you can actually learn, and the ones marked KidSpeak are the ones that are available for children. And so I went ahead and I chose Spanish. Spanish is one of the languages that has multiple dialect options. So I chose Latin American Spanish, which is also available in KidSpeak. And this is what that landing page looks like when you first log in and choose a language. You get that get ready to learn box that has a few steps there for getting you started. I went ahead and clicked continue on that welcome page, and it just kind of gives you a step-by-step tutorial for how to navigate through the platform and where different things are. So you have your learning path, and then you have vocabulary, then you have your area for practicing and completing activities. Courses and lessons are there at the top, and it just points out other areas of navigation for the website. And I don't mind, my computer was starting to die, so I had to plug it up. But let's go ahead and get started. So this is your learning path, and so it actually sets up a series of lessons for you. This one had like 43 in total, and it says let's find your first course. So you can kind of start wherever you want to start. You can browse for other courses if you like. And as you take these initial steps to navigate through the website, you'll check off some of the boxes in that get ready to learn section there on the right hand side. So I did find that kept popping up. So now I wanted to navigate to some other areas of the page. I clicked on courses and lessons to look through the categories. It says there's a welcome lesson, you have placement tests, the alphabet course, grammar lessons, essentials, elementary vocabulary, and then it just got progressively more challenging, but it's different types of lessons for different needs. So you have Spanish for professionals, real world advanced high Spanish, real world superior Spanish, business vocabulary, medical vocabulary. So depending on what your needs are or your reasoning for wanting to learn the language, you can skip ahead to the lessons that are most relevant to you. There's K-12 Quick Start for young learners, which is different from KidSpeak. So we are going to look at the KidSpeak section shortly. And then you have Spanish for library professionals, which is great, especially for public librarians, depending on where you live. Next, I clicked on the My Transcript tab, and this page will show whatever progress that you've made throughout a course or any of the courses that you've completed. And you can scroll to the bottom there and actually generate a language report between the known languages and the learning languages that you are navigating through. But when I clicked on the resources tab, this action box popped up. On the resources page are just some additional resources for learning your chosen language. So you have the Spanish word of the day, and then there are blogs that you can actually read, and there are even more resources available across other social media platforms, and you even have the transparent language online e-resources available as a PDF there. So you can watch YouTube videos or video tutorials, or even find information on X or Facebook, which is kind of cool. So I navigated back to the home page just to kind of go through each of the sections there on that landing page. And on under my personal goal, you can edit your goal or keep track of your history. Under learned vocab, you can view all learned vocab or create new vocab. And under your practice section, you have listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And then you have achievements. And then I wanted to play around with the learning path just to see what the options were. So you can remove something from your learning path. You can go ahead and look at the vocabulary that each of the sections cover without even going into that particular lesson. So I was skipping around lessons just to see what vocabulary was covered under each. And again, that little box just kind of kept popping up there. And then I wanted to see what the practice sections looked like. So I chose listening, and it gives you two ways to practice listening. You can either listen to an audio and choose multiple choice answers, or you can read it in your language and then choose the correct pronunciation of it in the practiced language. Under reading, you have more practice options. So you can either look at like a flashcard kind of situation by either looking at the practice language and your language. You can look at the practice language and then practice what the answer is. And then a number of other ways to learn: multiple choice, matching, foursquare, scrambling and unscrambling the words, or doing a language comparison, spelling inspector, multiple choice by filling in the blank to make a complete sentence or statement or phrase, and more matching fill in the blank exercises. So you have a lot of options for reading practice. Then I chose speaking. This section is where you practice your pronunciation. So you can either read terms in your language and then practice pronouncing it and interpreting it correctly, or you can read a term and then record your pronunciation, and the software will actually let you know whether or not you are correctly pronouncing the terms. And lastly, the writing practice section allows you to practice your writing. So you would either look at terms and type them correctly, or listen to a term or a phrase and type it out correctly. You have your typing tutor and a dictation practice feature there. Scrolling back up, our practice is in quiz mode, and it says that when quiz mode is on, you won't see feedback while you're doing an activity, but you'll get a score and you'll get answers at the end. So you can actually toggle quiz mode on and off depending on your preferred learning style. And I clicked the help button, which just gives a little bit of an explanation about the activities section, which we just walked through. So from here, I actually wanted to see what it would look like if I were to go back and choose another language in the middle of learning a language. That's to say, if I have not finished a course, can I go and choose another language? So I went back and I chose Swedish, and I toggled around through the page. I went to my transcript to see if there would be anything there, considering I hadn't started either of the courses. But I really just wanted to see if there would be any indicator that I had started within another languages, especially in this languages for the report section. So apparently you do have to start a section. But at that point that you choose another language, you then have a drop down menu of your most recent languages. So I toggled back to Spanish, and then I played around again and I toggled back to Swedish. So you can go back and forth between multiple languages that you might be practicing at the same time. And so now we're going to navigate to KidSpeak, and I clicked on Open KidSpeak. And this section is more of a gamified interactive learning, so I'm going to be quiet and let it speak for itself.
Hola, soy Pepa y este es mi caballo. Vamos a aprender español. ¡Vamos a divertirnos! Canciones. Cantemos unas canciones. La canción de los animales.
Los animales aquí están y si les llamas a ti vendrán. Guau, 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 aquí está el perro que mueve el rabo. Miau, miau, miau. Los animales aquí están.
Cantemos unas canciones. ¡Vamos a divertirnos!
So hopefully that was enough to get a feel for the kind of learning that happens here. I clicked on the question mark and it gives you the English translations for the different parts of the interactive experience happening here so that children can learn, because as you can see there are no captions going along with the speaker. So I clicked out of that and I went back to the door. So that's how you would leave out of the area. I clicked on the other option under the KidSpeak drop down menu, which just gives you a link that you can share. And so then I wanted to go through some of the other parts of the website. So you have your account information, password, notification setting, a certificates and test section. So if you were completing courses and earning certificates, those would be listed in that area. You can also change the language that you're learning in that list as well. So there's multiple places you can go to get back to the language list. And then under notification settings, you can sign up for learning goal and streak reminders. You just have a few more options for getting support or even giving feedback if you would like. And that was transparent language learning right at your fingertips for yourself or for the kids. So whether you're seeking to learn to expand your career opportunities or just for fun, or maybe be able to have a conversation with the new friend in their native tongue, this is a great tool to utilize, to practice and to learn. So that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions or are there any resources that you would like for me to cover, feel free to drop a comment below. Until next time, bye.